So I think for me, I first and foremost would like to just express my gratitude to the team that have put this together for all of us. It's been an incredible tool, an absolute gift to us, and we have learned hugely. And so I think we just want to honor you and bless you as you've shared so deeply and vulnerably with us. We're very grateful to you. So I think I just wanted to say that from
For me personally, I really loved the session on when we spoke about children and we spoke about their trauma. And I think what's been interesting for me is a lot of what adults go through has been undealt with childhood trauma. And so it's just more of an understanding and a perspective that there's actually such value in equipping or just being in a role where you have influence over a child, and over a teenager in those years, and to help them discover freedom early on. And it's always just, I mean, there's intricacies, and I think every situation is different, but ultimately, how we all have experienced some form of trauma. And so that goes without saying is like trauma in children cannot be avoided, but it can be assisted. And so I think what a huge blessing and role that I think I get to have is to be able to have the tools now to somewhat assist some learners with, accurate language or just a directing in the way that they handle things. And I think something that has constantly come up for me is it's a path towards wholeness and healing, which I think is ultimately what we all long for when we've gone through something that is really difficult, even if we haven't, but during our everyday life, we want to feel whole, we want to feel complete, and we all want to experience healing. And so to see a child through that lens of they deserve that too, they deserve wholeness and healing. And so I loved in one of the sessions when it was brought up how behind a behavior is a whole thread of what they've experienced. And so a child is not their behavior, instead they are what they've gone through. And I think I see that in adults too. My mom was an alcoholic and she passed away a couple of years ago. And when she was around, I really struggled to separate the behavior from the person. And it was only until she passed away that I really got to experience that forgiveness and that healing and that separation of what she was doing was separate from who she was. But I think, oh my word, what the freedom I would have experienced if I had realized that earlier on. And so I think to help people see their children, their parents in that same light, with these tools is going to be such a great privilege. And so super grateful.
And what a privilege to have been on this program with all of you. Everybody's contribution has been absolutely amazing. I'm always reminded of every single person who we interact with and who God guides to us to help with healing, are uniquely wired. And they are individuals with there's no duplicate of what one person experiences in trauma, even if it's a similar situation. Everyone is a unique individual. And there have been so many tools here, it's actually difficult to just pinpoint which one were the greatest. A lot of them, some of them are refreshers, some of them are just just packaged so nicely. But the steps that we went through for somebody to actually become responsible and acknowledge and take ownership of their situation and their thought process was incredible. One thing that I'd like to add to that is asking people, how does that help you? Whatever they're thinking of. And I relate it back to some clients I've had who have just been absolutely stuck because they're stuck on their way of thinking. But as soon as you ask them, how does that thought help you? How does your thinking help you? Or, the fact that you don't want to change your thoughts. But these tools just bring everything, so nicely together in opening up a person's mind to there is a different way of thinking and different possibilities. And it's just knowing when to draw on these tools that are more useful for one person than another. You know, we're not going to use all the same tools for everyone. So there's a beautiful bouquet of tools that you've shared with us, which is fabulous. And yeah, lots of little nuggets that I know subconsciously I will, as well as everybody else, I'm sure, we draw on it in the moment.
So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was marvelous. Everything was amazing. And it's really going to help me with my grandchildren as well. I loved what Claudia shared about children, and I just really am so aware of my grandchildren and their behavior. And oh, yeah, there's just so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Honestly, this course is phenomenal. It really is. I think the way you've given us the tools in such clear, concise manner, honestly sets us up to help people so well. I'm just reminded of the scripture the whole day today is that we triune being spirit, soul, and body. And he caused us, and his desire for that is for those parts of our being, all of them, to prosper. That's what his scripture says. That's what his word says. And that everyone here in this room, we get to be part of that in somebody else's journey, which is no small thing. And also the vulnerability of sitting in a group where people share their hearts, share their difficult times, because it's that vulnerability that actually brings you into the place of really helping and understanding other people.
There's one of my students who came in, I don't even remember when was it. She wanted to give away her child because she felt that she can't really take care of the child. Because I am a strong believer that, you know what, once you have a child and you are a mother, your responsibility is to make sure that the child thrives in life. And I didn't give her an opportunity to answer what was her reason. I kept on saying to her, you know what, this child is your responsibility. There is no way that you can actually give away your child, instead of probing and find out what exactly is making her feel that way. That is what we shared with Sarah. But thank you so much for everything. You've given us so many tools that we can use, and yeah, we'll carry on and do what God has laid in our hearts to do. Thank you.